gentlemen, welcome back. We will now proceed to the IP Open Policy Meeting for the Cooperation Special Interest Group. In this session, we're going to shift our focus to digital transformation. Please welcome the moderator for the session, Ms. Joy Chan, Deputy CEO of TW NIC. Ms. Chan, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone, and this is a Cooperation Special Interest Group. I'd like to welcome you, and on behalf of this ICANN Engagement Forum. In this session, we're going to be talking many things regarding to the cooperation. The cooperation is really the main thing. It's a foundation to work with everyone and each other. So the Cooperation SIG is really a broader special interest group talking about the different things, public, private, industry, and all the different opportunities for cooperation. So I have here with you on the floor that we have people basically based in Taiwan. But first, I'd like to introduce two wonderful speakers from the board. Jia Rong, he is going to be representing ICANN, and probably he's going to be representing AP NIC. And of course, the people here, we're going to be spending more time to talk and sharing and having a wonderful discussion. So my first speaker will be Jia Rong, and a little bit about him. Jia Rong is the Vice President for the Global Stakeholder Engagement and Managing Director, Asia Pacific from ICANN. So he actually engaged ICANN way back at 2013, but prior than that, he has many different experience working with different people. Also, he, as far as I understand, he was a diplomat. So he, within the Asia Pacific region, that he worked with many different countries, and he knows the region so well. Now that he's our representative in ICANN, so I like to give the time to Jia Rong, and he can share with us for this Cooperation Special Interest Group session to start with from the ICANN's point of view. Jia Rong, it's yours.
Thank you, Joy. Yeah, so very happy to be able to join. In fact, the ICANN APAC TW Engagement Forum, we started it a couple of years back, face-to-face, but because of COVID last year, things took a big turn. And even now, we were hoping that we could meet together in Taiwan, but unfortunately, we can't do that. Hopefully, we can see each other face-to-face next year when we do the third run. And very excited to be here amongst the panel, and thank you very much, Joy, for the opportunity. So broadly talking about, from a cooperation special interest group perspective, and on the theme of digital transformation, I think this is very timely because COVID has essentially fast-forwarded digitization in almost everything we do, in companies, in even small to medium enterprises. It's fast-forwarded the need for us to be digital. I'll share one very interesting anecdote about Singapore. We've been trying to go cashless. We use mobile payments, app payments. We've been trying to do cashless for the past 10 years, but we've never succeeded. In Singapore, we still like to use cash. And our minister traveled to other countries, and he wanted to pay in cash. And the people in another country, even like hawkers, they would say, no, I don't take cash anymore. You have to pay using mobile payments. But in Singapore, we haven't moved forward for that. But with COVID in the past year, cashless transaction, the pickup rate, the adoption has really sped itself up. Because now we want to avoid being able to having all these contact payments. We want to have contactless payment as much as possible. So it really, in a way, it's opportune that the silver lining behind the pandemic has helped push digital transformation, fast-forwarded it by maybe 5 years. And this is a good opportunity for us as a community to think about, how can we then further work with each other and collaborate to help each other be able to move forward even further on the theme of digital transformation. So I don't have anything particularly groundbreaking to share, but I do have a platform I'd like to share to explore whether we could use this platform amongst others, to work with one another to improve our collaboration even further. So one of the things I want to share about is a space we have in ICANN. It's called the APAC space, APAC meaning Asia Pacific. Space literally is a space for us as an Asia Pacific community to come together. So APAC space is literally a space for the ICANN APAC community. We started this in 2015. And the idea was for the community, for our community in the region, to come together and discuss various issues that are ICANN related, mainly focusing on like DNS topics, policy development topics, centering on topics that are related to ICANN. And we do this every 2 months. Previously, if we had ICANN meetings face-to-face, we will meet together. You can see the photos. But now we do that every 2 months on a web conference format. We also have a mailing list that we can share news or discussions or issues on the mailing list with the group. So for those that, from our community in the region, if this is the first time you're hearing it, you can find out more at this link, apacspace.asia, and join us in the mailing list by writing to subscribe at apacspace.asia. So on APAC Space itself, essentially it is about a space for our APAC community to come together. And we are thinking about finding more opportunities for us to do that. We have a very robust internet governance community in the Asia Pacific region, but clearly for ICANN, our remit is relatively narrower, and the kind of topics we talk about are also much more technical, sometimes a bit very, very narrow, might not interest everyone per se. But we realized that some of the topics does cross-cut into communities in the wider region, and from which we can tap on a lot of expertise on. And I'm very sure from the Taiwan community, there are a lot of experts whom we can learn from. And I'm hoping that we can explore this idea of how can we leverage on a platform to come together and discuss more ideas. So some initial ideas we are thinking of, which we have kickstarted, was to discuss about the root server system, introduce the basics of the root server system, and there is a current discussion on the root server system's governance. So that is one track that we're exploring on talking about. Another track that we're working on is also on a regional mentorship program where we have leaders from the ICANN community, from the APAC community in ICANN. And we actually have a sizable group of regulars who've been attending ICANN meetings, who've been participating in ICANN, but they've not really been, not very clear about how they can participate more concretely. And we're thinking of working on a mentorship program by linking up the leaders, who are the veterans, with the regulars who are attending ICANN constantly and regularly. So this will help to foster our actual participation in ICANN policy making. And I'm very sure, amongst the participants here, some of you are leaders as well, and we can learn from you if you can be a mentor and help work with us. And tomorrow afternoon, there's a session which Koei is leading. We will have a panel of community leaders in ICANN who will share their experience. So I'm hoping that we can also leverage on that discussion to help us develop the mentorship program further. Now, along the theme of digital transformation, one other track which I'd like to propose for us to consider as a community is perhaps a track on digital initiatives. Basically, just thinking about, every couple of months, we could set up a topic to have a speaker from the region, from Taiwan, for example, come and share about the digital landscape in your economy or region. Talk about, what are the latest initiatives, the latest transformations. And on the flip side, what are the challenges for the internet industry? And through this discussion, perhaps we could foster a stronger network within the region, just to understand how, where the opportunities are, where the challenges are for our community, and through that, be able to, through the exchange, be able to explore better ways of collaborating and further developing our internet community further and the industry further. So what can we do under this track? Perhaps we could come together and suggest various topics. From our side, we'll pull them together. Then we'll invite you to come and speak at APAC Space, or if you have any speakers you'd like to recommend, or you can direct your community or your colleagues to our platform, or the APAC Space community to your platform to discuss on various common topics. Then we can explore cross-platform, cross-forum synergies. So that's something I'm proposing that perhaps we could leverage on, just take the approach of identifying platforms or forums in the region that we could better foster exchange over time. And broadly, those are a few broad comments, and that's it for my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jiarong. I really appreciate your sharing, because I remember the last time when we were still be able to doing the face-to-face meeting at the ICANN, that your Asia APAC Space was something really, really worth to remember, because we do have this opportunity to come, to share, to bring our questions and challenges, also looking for the different cooperation among the different stakeholders in that space. So I think that's the goal, and I really appreciate Jiarong is doing this for this APAC region. Thank you very much, Jiarong. So without further ado, I'm going to be introducing you our second speaker, Nicole. I think everybody here locally know Nicole as the chairperson of National Communication Commissioner, but she also has many other titles. Today, she's going to use her title as the Digital Transformation Vice Chairperson to share with us. And as you all may know, that she is a very frequent speaker and a panelist, not just domestic, but also international. So her base practice is from the law, especially on the intellectual property. But also with the technology evolving, she's been catching up on all of those and setting up the regulation while she was the chairperson. So I'm really thinking that this is a very honorable opportunity to having Nicole to come and share with us on this cooperation with the digital transformation. So thank you, Nicole.
Thank you, Joy. Hello, Jiarong and Pablo. It has already been more than 1 year when we last meet in Melbourne, right? Hope we can see each other face to face soon. And the ladies on the stage and all the audience. Good afternoon. It's my great honor to be here to share to attend the corporate SIG. Thank you for the invitation. I think the digital transformation, can you put my slides? Yeah. I think the topic digital transformation, there are so many different issues we can discuss within the topic, and can also discuss broadly from very different point of view. So today I'm going to focus specified from two sections. The first is just a slight comparison with the digital transformation and the internet governance. I think our people from internet community, they are familiar with the internet governance. So we make some comparison with digital transformation and internet governance. We can know a little bit more about the digital transformation. And then as the vice chairperson of Digital Transformation Association, I'm going to share what the DTA is doing in Taiwan to promote the digital transformation. And then I think the other two ladies, they can share the real case and the practical case, local, either local or globally, for the case of digital transformation. Okay. The wrong button. Okay, so let's start from the definition of the digital transformation and internet governance. When we say digital transformation, the digital transformation is the integration of digital technology into all areas of a business, fundamentally changing how you operate and deliver value to customers. So you can see the keywords is the integration of digital technology. And into all areas of business. So digital transformation is something concerning about the business. As to the internet governance, I think we are all familiar with internet governance. Internet governance means that the development and application by multiple stakeholders, right? Governments, the private sector, and the civil society in their respective roles of shared principles, norms, rules, decision-making procedures, and programs that shape the evolution and the use of the internet. So that is what we understand about the digital transformation and the internet governance. According to the definition, we can see the internet governance, we all work together, including the civil society, the international intergovernmental organizations, and technical community and academia, and of course, private sector and government. Just remember that government is only partial role within the internet society. And concerning about the digital transformation, it is we can see a few key successful factors within the operation model of the digital transformation, including the enhanced corporate control, the customer experience, product and service innovation, and of course, distribution, marketing, and sales, and the digital fulfillment and the risk optimization. So I think after the explanation, we can see, we know more about the operating model of digital transformation and internet governance. But no matter internet governance or the digital transformation, we're trying to synergy the value and towards the digital innovation, no matter technologies or the business model. So right now, we are facing the paradigm shift era. We are now living in a world of digital opportunities, yeah, as Jarong said, especially after the COVID. Yeah, there is a joke on the internet that the most powerful driven force of the digital transformation, of course, is COVID-19, not the CTO or CEO or whatever top leader. So we are now living in a world of digital opportunities, and with those opportunities comes a new set of challenges, of course, including the recession, the climate change, and other challenges, requiring new mindset and a new set of regulation. So right now, it is a paradigm shift era. So as so many topics we discussed in the Internet Society's different forum, we are focusing on the most of the technical issues concerning about the intelligent connectivity. So intelligent connectivity is the foundation of digital transformation, there's no doubt. The internet not only connects us to our friends, families, and communities, but it is also the foundation of the global knowledge and the digital economy. Digital everywhere. Digital is technology, but digital is also transformation of how you work, how you make decisions, how you interact with others. Every company is a digital company. So ready for the new normal? Internet and the digitization and the digitalization, there's different meaning about these two words. Yeah, I will explain later. Have disturbed the way we live and work. So digital transformation is the way organizations responding to the paradigm shift in the digital world. They adopt digital technologies to reshape the competitive advantage and create new business model and value. So that is the general definition and the general the concept of the digital transformation. So what is digital transformation? Digital transformation has different definitions depending on the focus of each different organization. But we can still see the common ground. No matter from Wikipedia, the integrating physical processes with digital data to optimize and solve problems. That is the definition from Wikipedia. And from WEF, new technologies has redefined customer expectation, enabling business to meet this new expectation and changing the way people live and work. So we can also see the common ground. The first stage, utilize the digital technology, of course, yeah. For digital transformation, we should utilize the digital technology, no matter the different technology we heard every day. The cloud, the data, deep learning, AI, edge computing, IoT, AI, whatever, including the cybersecurity. And of course, when we utilize the digital technology, we need to solve problems. Yeah, that is important. To improve customer satisfaction. So we need to solve the problem, enhance our procedure, or enhance our usage of the technology. Then, very important, create new value. Create new value. No matter productivity improved, creates new value, even new business model. So life should be focused on worthwhile things. So we can see the common ground, utilize digital technology, solve problem, and create new values. The development of digital transformation, it is important. Digital information is not a goal, nor a linear process, but a non-stop journey. It's a journey involving interactive processes and multiple stakeholders. Again, because we need to build a new ecosystem. So generally, we will divide it 3 steps into the digital transformation. The first step is digitalization, analog to digital. From paper to digital. And every process in production line can be tracked with digital tools. That is the first step, digitization. And the second step, digitalization. Efficiency improvement and process optimization. We use the new technology to improve, enhance the user experience and operational optimization. And then, when we go into the real digital transformation stage, new business models and new values we have created. So be created business model, adopting digital technologies to reshape the competitiveness advantage and create new business model and value. That is, we analyze the digital transformation 3 steps. So what is the benefits of digital transformation? Those benefits can be seen in improvement of customer experience, empowering employees, optimizing operational processes, developing innovative products and services or markets, new business model, organizational digital innovation capability, and accumulation of digital assets and the digital organizational culture. So that are the benefits of digital transformation. We can conclude into the engage customers, empower employees, optimize operations, and transform of their services and products. Companies are aware of digital transformation, but lacking effective action plans. This is DTA observations from Taiwan. The observation 1, Taiwan companies have a higher awareness of digital transformation than the global average. But Taiwan companies are not fully prepared for embarking on digital transformation. So with intensified competition and the impact of innovative technology, SME, small media enterprise, are facing the dilemma. of innovation and need to accelerate digital innovation and the technology application to avoid losing market opportunities. So they are facing the dilemma. And there should be some methods and a procedural and a mechanism for them to adapt for the digital transformation. So this is what DTA is doing in Taiwan. Taiwan Digital Transformation Index, that is DTA is creating right now. What is the TDX? TDX is starting point for companies to embark on digital transformation. With this scale, companies can access their digital readiness, their position, and find out what they need. Why TDX? The TDX is valid and easy to use, expandability, can be fine-tuned for different industry. We all know that the different domain knowledge are important when we are doing digital transformation. So can be fine-tuned for different industries is important, and global but local and flexible. Companies who are interested in carrying out digital transformation, and manufacturing services, industries, and information service providers, it means that solution providers and SMEs. How to do that? Establishing norm standard, so the companies take the scale test, can get their ranks of digital readiness in certain industry. The annual results can be used to track the effectiveness of digital transformation. That is what DTA is doing in Taiwan. We are trying to build up a cross-institutional alliance. The first step is to build the ecosystem. So you can see in the middle, we combined, aligned with all different industry, including the ICT industry, manufacturing service industry, and other industry. And we can divide the ecosystem into two different sides. The one side is supply side, and the other side is demand side. The demand side, we collaborate with a different association in Taiwan, including the Taiwan Electronic Manufacturers Association, the Technical Textiles Association, and the other manufacturing and external trade development council. And the supply side, we collaborate with the Information Service Industry Association of Taiwan and Taipei Computer Association, and etc. So the goal is to providing TDX solutions and the tools. They can build up the scale, they can know the scale and the competency and the benchmarks, know what they are at right now. So the strategy is trying to build a connected ecosystem. You can see in the middle, the TDX ecosystem. We use the networking, cross-institutions alliance, and use the benchmark to do the evaluation. And the companies can see the performance indicator scale. Then exploration, it is the try to collect the benchmarking cases and the talent, of course. When we are on the digital transformation journey, we need so many different talents, including the architecture, the consultant, and of course the engineers. So this is the digital transformation ecosystem. So I think my introduction is give you a brief introduction about the comparison of digital transformation and the internet governance, and the basic definition and of digital transformation and what the DTA is doing in Taiwan right now. So that is all my introduction and presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole is talking as the Vice chairperson for the Digital Transformation Association, and as we all know that this digital transformation is happening everywhere along the globe. However, that it is not just a technology, it's about data, it's about process, it's about the people, it's about the organization. So I'm proudly going to be presenting Prabal as our next speaker. Prabal is the Strategic Engagement Director from APNIC. Whenever that we have APNIC conferences, Prabal is the one who's helping me to prep for doing all the cooperation SIG. He understands how cooperation is needed, and I'm very happy to have him in this session to share with us regarding to cooperation, regarding to the digital transformation. So Prabal, there you are.
Joy and everyone, it is so good to be here with you, though here, unfortunately, is not physically there. I think this panel is a good example, not only about cooperation to discuss in an interdisciplinary way the important subject of digital transformation, but this panel is also itself a great example of digital transformation triggered by the pandemic. I am here in the living room of my house by myself, speaking in front of my computer. My kids went out to have a pizza, so there was no interruption to my participation. And it is very hard for me to imagine that I am talking through a screen and there is an audience and a panel in a stage present in the Howard Plaza Hotel in Taipei, thousands of kilometers away from where I am based now. And this event, I think we need to recognize, is one of the first very successful hybrid events where you are able to have a community present in a location that has managed the pandemic very well. In Taiwan, it is able to have a gathering of people all in a room where there is coffee and snacks and there is this interaction that I truly, absolutely miss very much from the era before the pandemic. I'm not sure if there are handshakes and hugs or if there are social distancing rules, but it is very nice to see people gathering, and I am very envious about that. At the same time, in this event, half of the speakers were not able to travel, so moderators and participants, such like myself, are trying to appear the best way we can, as if we were there, doing our best to interact seamlessly with you in this hybrid format. And I think this is part of turning things digital and turning processes digital. There is a lot in the organization of this event to make this interaction possible. So we are indeed riding this massive wave, as Nicole showed us in her slide, bigger than bioterrorism, economic crisis, climate change, and the COVID pandemic, which is a digitally transformed event. And it goes through all the steps that Nicole just said. It is sort of digital because it is recorded and archived and streamed, and it is possible to have it through digital means. And also all the processes are transformed and accommodated for digital participation as well as physical participation. I really liked how Nicole explained synergies between digital transformation and internet governance. And let me just, to finish, add a thought. Jaron explained the APAC space as one of ICANN spaces for cooperation. And as Joy said, there is also this space, which is the Cooperation Special Interest Group at APNIC, which was created about 7-8 years ago. And the Cooperation SIG is a forum for discussion about broader internet issues. As you know, in APNIC, we tend to limit ourselves to very technical content, but Cooperation SIG is this space where there is the possibility to discuss wider issues such as public policy, internet governance, and topics such as digital transformation. So it is I think that thanks to leadership such as Joy as a very capable chair of this initiative, who also was able to bring the spirit of the Cooperation SIG into the TWNIC and ICANN engagement forum. I think this is about exactly having a conversation between different experts. And I'm not an expert on digital transformation, but I would like to bring this expertise of the spirit of cooperation that I think is essential to discuss wider issues. And with that, I would like to be able to interact with other speakers as well.
Okay, great, Prabhu. Thank you. We really miss you. I hope that we can really work together, for more and more cooperation SIG to help everybody to really see the value and the spirit of it. So I'm going to be turning the next microphone to Julia. Julia is the VP of Engineering at Inquitic. Now, I know that Julia, that you have been working as engineering from the technical side, but digital transformation is obviously very important for your organization as well as for the other organization that you have been working for in the past. So over the years, when we are talking about digital transformation, when you are working with the product team to developing new things, I'm sure that you have seen the transformation that's happening. So do share with us your story about what you see here in Taiwan, that when you are acting as the engineering VP, and how do you see all these changes happening? Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. And thank you, everyone. It's an honor to be here. Okay, got it. And also thank you, Nico, because she did a great job to save my time, because my first slide is going to, it doesn't work. Okay, so thanks, Nico, because this slide, she did explain detail that the definition for digitalization. Actually, there are 3 levels: digitalization, digital optimization, and digital transformation. So it will save me a lot of time. Let me start with the case for music industry. In old time, people listen to gramophone records. It's analog music. And then in year 1982, the CD get invented. So at that time, around that time, the music got digitalized. And in year 2000, when I worked at the Universal Music, we are trying to build a music service, including the downloading and subscription part. At that time, I have we faced 2 challenges. The first one is we're trying to make the digital song size smaller, because at that time we don't have 5G, we don't have 5 mega download speed. So we need to reduce the music size to be smaller to fit the current, at that time's network, and without losing the quality of the song. And second challenge is at that time, the digital rights management is not very mature yet. Digital rights management is the technology that to able to protect the song only be accessed by the user that pay. So I have to flew to Seattle every week to work with Microsoft engineer at that time to solve the problem. Like I need to configure the music able to transfer to 3 devices, or even I can configure the song with 1 month lifetime, so we can have a subscription model. Until 2014, this is the first year that online music sales exceed the physical store. So the digital transformation for music industry actually took like 20 to 30 years to get that point. Okay, so for how do we do the digital transformation? Usually involved with the people and organization, and the right culture and the right technology. And you will see that in the following case that when I work at Yahoo and the HTC. Why still? Okay. The first case is when I work at Yahoo Taiwan. This is the payslip I get every month. Around 2010, they stop sending this kind of payslip. They're using email to send out the payslip. This is a the typical example of digital optimization. How do they do it is HR will find a vendor solution to provide this kind of service, and then the MIs will work with HR to integrate the third-party solution in-house, and then work with security team. In Yahoo, we don't call security, we call it paranoid. So paranoid team is responsible for checking the process to meet the security guideline. For example, all the email need to be encrypted and able to decrypt by the password. And if employee forgot the password, need to be able to reset. So this is the first case. And then next one, move on to HTC. HTC was famous for manufacturing the phone in year 2010. And at that time, and then the executive want to extend the phone business to include cloud service. For 2 reasons. One is have a better user experience. For example, we're going to have more feature like back up your phone in the cloud, or find your phone or ring your phone when you lose your phone, able to find your phone on the map. Also, a feature like you can configure your wallpaper on the website. And so that's the first one is to improve the user experience. And second thing is we want to have a better profit margin, because of manufacturer phone the profit is not good. So we want to make more money from the content service. So that's why we start. So in 2011, the HTC Sense.com release. That was the feature that I mentioned before. So in 2012, actually, the HTC phone sales hit the top and then start crumbling for the following years. So the executive is trying hard to find a second times for transformation. And in around 2015, the Valve Corporation. Valve is the biggest game developer. Game distributor in the state came to HTC. They are developing a virtual reality game. They have a OS called Steam OS. So they want to leverage HTC's manufacturing scale. So they came to HTC. And so HTC signed a 2-year exclusive contract with Valve Corporation. That's how the Vive and the Vipors start. So, and then how do HTC do it? In year 2010, they hire like 200 to 300 cloud engineer. The culture for cloud engineer are so different from phone. because like, for example, the phone engineer always work until like midnight, maybe 11 or 12. They cannot go home by 9 p.m. And then, however, the cloud engineer always focus on the working effectively with efficiency. So the cloud engineer always go home earlier. So they have a two different culture team. So how do they working together? So the executive, after years of merging and reorganization, finally we find a way to have a common standard process and a standard, so to let both sides working together. This is the, so that's why I mentioned that we need the right technology, right organization to make the transformation happen. And this is the current company I'm working at. 2 days ago, the big news is that Microsoft acquired Nuance with $19.2 billion. And for such merge acquisition, usually they need to do due diligence. The due diligence checking 3 things. First is the financial status. Also, a second thing is the employee. Is the important employee still with the company? Third thing is the patent. So for the patent part, usually it will for Nuance actually have like 4.7 thousand patents. If you want to hire one lawyer can finish 10 patents per day, you probably need 20. Lawyers to finish all the patents and provide a report in 47 days. Then you can get a report. But now we have a tool, we have a service that we can run the report within 10 minutes. So that's the beauty of that. We transfer the patent. We are doing the patent digital transformation. In this chart, we will show. Okay, this is old slide. Anyway, originally I provided a Nuance that report. It shows the top 3 target is what's the target? What's the potential targets that? We will, based on the patents for citation, that means who cites Nuance patent most. The top 3 company, actually IBM, Google, and Microsoft. That means Google, that means Microsoft acquire Nuance is a good deal because their overlap patents are strong. Okay, so how the benefit, Nicholas mentioned that the benefit of getting digital transformation is the empower people, transfer product, optimize operation, engage customer. But what's the core? It's that it's the digital feedback loop. So we need to have we need to build our digital feedback loop to know what's our customer activity, and then tracking them and able to react to those in terms of product and other things. So I would say next big things for digital transformation is to build the digital feedback loop. Okay, that's my share for today.
Thank you, Julia. Yes, we are transforming, but we need the loop back so we can do it better, right? And last but not the least, I'm happily to present Daphne. Daphne comes with many, many good stories, so stay tuned and hear from her. She is now the country manager for Cookpad. But prior than that, she really changed everybody's life here in Taiwan, because now that after the meeting, when I walk out from the Howard Plaza, I can just call a Uber to take me back home. And she is the lady who actually brings this service to Taiwan. So let me welcome Daphne, and you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Okay, I will. So Julia talked about a bit of the, the back end of the engineer side of the work, and I'm not specialized in that area. So I will talk about the front side of how digitalized transformation impact every single one of us. And so a bit of my background. So I joined Groupon 2022. And then I joined Uber 2013, and as a first 300 employee globally. So I launched together with 2 other co-workers of Uber Taiwan. And in 2017, I also launched Uber Eats in Taiwan. That also changed everyone's life about eating takeaway. 2018, I joined Cookpad Taiwan as a country manager. And so today I will walk you through the 3 companies that I experienced about the digital transformation. So the first one, Uber. So before Uber, I think everyone's familiar with this. So we either queue for a taxi, or we hail a ride, or we get someone to call a taxi for us. And this is how the story began. Originally, Uber's founder, Travis, and he was thinking about how do we make this more efficient. Just by push a button, your car will be arriving. And then gradually the idea becoming everyone's private driver to attract more people use the product. And Uber is known as a disruptor, and it's nothing new. It's actually it's an existing business for a long time, for many, many decades. But we transforming into a digitalization platform way. And in fact, if you see those 4 companies on the slide, Uber is the largest company in the world that with the rides company, but it doesn't have any vehicles. And Facebook is the largest media platform, but does not create any content themselves. And Alibaba, the same, did not have any inventory, and Airbnb did not own any hotels. So I think that's crazy, because about 9, 10 years ago, no one thought about this. And that is really also known as a sharing economy. So we talk a lot about collaboration, cooperation, kind of the way in this new world. And I think it is really what the platform provide and connect the person or a group of people who have the service with together and find another group of people who actually need the service. And we can see actually by 2025, the revenue is expecting to reach $335 billion. And Uber is also, what is the platform for, right? Like, what is the benefit of this? And it is about the data, so how we can really use the data to help every single person's daily life. So what we do a lot of time is monitor the supply and demand. So when we can monitoring and kind of trying to balance out the supply and demand, there are so many things we can do. First thing, I think everyone's quite familiar with this, surge price. If you use Uber before, when the demand is high, if you want the rides, you would pay a bit more for that. And taking rides are all about the efficiency. How do we get driver to pick you up on time in the right place? And how do we deliver a customer to the place they want to drop off? That is very important. And the third thing is even, I think it happened 5 years ago, the upfront pricing. When we have enough data, we are able to predict people when they need to take a ride, how much is gonna be from A to B. And furthermore, there's a technology for also the driver side to help them to work more efficiently. So in the US especially, so if a driver is going towards a certain route, they want to make some money on the way to their destination, they can actually use the function to help them to make some money. And the next one is the forward dispatch. This is something I found is amazing in Uber, because in the old days, if you request a car, they will dispatch you to a driver that is possibly close to you, but do not have any customer in the car. But with this new technology, the system can dispatch you to the closest driver, and this driver will end the trip soon. So in that way, save customers time and also help the driver to save the time and money to not going somewhere else, like further away. And the next thing is to help driver to identify where is the popular area to pick up customers in certain time, certain day. And lastly, Uber also provide the technology of the daily report for the driver and what's the pattern, how to help them to make more money, etc. And in fact, we actually have a team of basically a team to calculate driver economics to basically see what's the average earning, average trips, and how can we help those maybe underperform driver to make more money, and how can we share the best practice with everyone in the community. And that leads to the next business, Uber Eats. Food delivery also is always there. It's nothing new. And the platform is really simple. Basically, a platform, a device, connect a restaurant with the courier and the eaters. But what the beauty of this technology is, before Uber Eats, restaurant can only rely on the customers who walk past by or in the neighborhood. And the customers can only go to a certain restaurant in the neighborhood. But now, with Uber Eats and also other food delivery platform, customers and restaurants are able to reach each other within 2 to 3 kilometers. And customers can also have more category, a selection when they want to eat. And Uber Eats also provide like dashboard and trying to, Nicole was talking about is the new digital world is all about add value and then the new service. Before, when you go to a restaurant, you need to draw something what you want to order on the paper. And I really doubt, in the end of the day, how many restaurant staff actually calculate how many dishes in each of the category they actually sell in order to improve their service or their revenue in the future. But with dashboard that Uber Eats provides, you solve all the problems because each of the order will go into the system to tell you what are the foods and dish, and then whatever you sell actually make more sense, help you to make more money. How can you improve next time? There's a customer satisfaction. Before, you can't really, even the customers didn't like your food, there's no way you will find out about this. But now with Uber Eats, you are able to actually find out more information to help you to improve your service in the future. And in fact, there's 25 to 40% of the revenue for the local restaurant are now coming from the food delivery. And also, I think people probably heard about this, the gig economy. This provide with the courier, the other stakeholders. So there's the eaters, restaurant, and the couriers. So couriers are now able to work whenever they want to work. They have a flexible time, and the requirement for this kind of work is really, really low. So there are many people are suitable for this type of job. Yeah, and what's important thing is Uber Eats is a transformation from for the local restaurant, right? And what's next? There are much more potential digital transformation from Uber Eats. I actually took this, borrowed this slide from the Cloud Kitchen Taiwan's GM Willie, who was my first coworker in Uber. And that is it. This is something they are building right now. The founder also is Travis, Uber's founder. Restaurant can be a cloud kitchen in the future. What does that mean? This is cloud kitchen. That means you will not actually need to own a restaurant in the future anymore. Why is that? And then Cloud Kitchen will also work with all the food delivery platform like Uber Eats, Foodpanda, like Deliveroo, so on and so forth. And then there will be a waiting area for the courier to pick out the foods. And why? Because it's much more quicker to open up, and then the cost is much more efficient to open up. And the third, the company, Coupang, that I'm working with, is a third case study I want to show you. It's also food related. Coupang is the biggest recipe platform in the world. So before Coupang, this is how we find recipe. So we go to a bookstore, find a book, recipe books, and maybe we will check about a couple of the recipe that suits us, and then that's it. We will buy another book, or we will write something down on a piece of paper. But there are much more than just a recipe digitalized, because when you can digitalize business, there are much more you can achieve, especially the customer satisfaction. How can we make cooking fun every day? So that's something that Coupang want to achieve, rather than, okay, another platform that's digitalized the like actual physical cookbook. Let's do something fun. So Coupang is actually founded in Japan 1997 and listed in Japan 2010. And so it's not only just simply share recipes, ideas, and cooking tips. And now, because we believe cooking can be happier, can help us to build a happier and healthier life for the people and community and planet. So that's why our mission is to make everyday cooking fun. And why? I'll give you an example. When I cook for my family, for my children, what I'm thinking about is how do I feed them healthy food. When I think about that, I need to go to find and buy ingredient. When I buy ingredient, that ingredient, where are those ingredients coming from? How did the farmer grow those ingredients? That is actually impact our environment. And then the environment potentially it's lead to something, the connection to global warming. Every stage is actually linked to each other. So coming back to when I go select ingredient, I will start to cautiously think about what to cook, what to buy, and what to give to my children to eat. So every single person have a different reason to cook, but we believe as long as people start cooking, those issues, those problems, those things we want to make better, we can build a better world. And what is Coupang for? Not just a recipe platform. Coupang is actually a world community. So now when I want to cook pad thai, I can actually go to Coupang Thai website to find a Thai local users who actually cook a real pad thai. And then I can learn from that person. Or maybe I want to do a Spanish, Spanish like air. I can also learn it from there. And the platform is, before when we want to cook something, we check the book, we check our note. But now when you go to the platform, you can see the popular search from all of the users in Taiwan. And I can save my recipes in the platform, so I don't need to go through all these papers again. And I can find some numbers about my recipes. People are checking my recipes, so maybe this fish perform really well because people like this type of dish. And you can, or even cook snap someone else's recipe. So I often trying to learn from someone's recipe. So after I follow this user's recipe, I can send a feedback as a cook snap, say, I follow your recipe. This is how I did it. And that is the community. And a lot of people ask how Coupang make money. So in Japan, there are 2 million premium users. So like $2.6 per month, they subscribe to the service. And 66% are the premium service revenue, and 24% on the ads revenue. And premium service is actually just a subscription model, which I think subscription model is going to be very popular in the next few years. So we have 100 million people use Coupang around the world. And we have 77 million recipes have been created on the platform. And there are 70 countries, 30 languages. Imagine half of the people actually subscribe on Coupang. What happened? And so lastly, because of this, this is the business model we do, and we actually have some extension of the business. So in Japan, Cookpatma is really, really popular right now. It connects the local farmers to the customers. And because of COVID, there are more and more people use the service. And also we work with Amazon at Alexa. In the future, when you're cooking in the kitchen, you don't need to check your phone anymore. You just talk to Alexa. Alexa, can you tell me what's next step for my 炒饭? And Alexa will tell you, oh, maybe add more garlics. And so lastly, we are also trying to build some smart kitchen equipment. And so personally, I'm really looking forward to the smart kitchen part of it. And that's it. And what's next for your business then? Thank you.
What's next for your business? I am hoping that one day that Daphne is gonna, one day soon, Daphne is gonna invite me to her kitchen, and then we can cook with Cookpad, I guess. So my wonderful 5 speakers has shared different point of view from the digital transformation. And I like to now, when we are getting close to the end of the session, if there's anyone who wants to have a question asked, a comment, please come forward to the microphone. And maybe 1 minute for 5 minutes, I hope I still have. So for each one of my speakers, what's a word of encouragement for digital transformation? Jiarong, do you want to go first? Let's go by the order. A word for encouragement in the days of digital transformation.
If it's one word, it's hard. How about a sentence?
A word, a phrase is good. Thank you.
Always look for the silver lining. It's kind of like, the pandemic, we think of on the negative side, but it's really helped fast forward digital transformation. So I guess, it's a lot of it's about mindset.
Wonderful. Thank you. Nicole?
Yeah, change.
Change.
Yeah, we need to change for a better life. Thank you.
Okay, bravo, my dear partner.
I think it's action. Like, execution is everything. Let's make it happen.
Okay.
Sorry, I lost my Zoom mute button, but I am here. I feel digitally transformed in a cooperative way after attending this session, but most importantly, I am so hungry that I am going to just ask for delivery right here, right now, because it was a delicious thing to hear Daphne talking about all those food transformations.
Yes. Julia, did you? Yeah.
I have 2 words actually. It's the feedback loop. So it means that we need to catch all the voice, all the data from customer or from our from everywhere to improve our product or operations.
Okay. Thank you all for the participation of the cooperation. I hope from here on, there's much, much more opportunities we can work together. And thank you for all my speakers. It is a wonderful cooperation working with all you guys. You guys are wonderful. Thank you, and this will adjourn the session.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chang, for moderating the session, and thank you to all panelists for the in-depth discussion. Please take your seats downstage, and thank you very much for your sharing in the session.